Okay. All right.
Where's Chris? Is he not around?
He is around. In fact, Chris, come and say hi. John's asking how you are. John, Scott, and Daniel are all on.
Hi there.
Hi, Chris.
What Chris does is he listens on the sofa, so he's nice and comfy.
Okay.
He'll be here.
My mom's actually here too. She just says that her morning face on the Zoom.
And Scott, Chris is still
free coffee face.
He didn't get to play you in Florida. He's crestfallen.
You've got to come back this year then.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know this year, but
if it happens, right? I guess it's next year.
Yeah, maybe.
That tournament they're having in February, I think.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, they decided not to do December, so.
Okay.
Oh, what, the World Championship?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that might
maybe
work
we
then.
can go.
Yeah.
I think it's early February. Yeah, check it out. But
Okay.
It is. They changed the date to February, so you guys might be able to do it, Jan. I just have a quick question. Is anybody going to the tournament in Italy?
No.
Can anyone go? Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I was supposed to go to Italy in September, but because of it's very risky to travel. You know, the number of cases is increasing there, and we have to quarantine when we travel back. So, yeah, it's not too easy this year.
Yeah, I was just surprised that they haven't postponed it yet or canceled it.
Yeah, it's a travel.
They haven't decided yet whether to go ahead or not, but because it's outdoor, so they hope they can still go ahead.
I did look to see if we could drive all the way there rather than fly, but I think it was going to be about 2.5 days of driving.
Yeah.
So Chris drew the line at that. So especially if it's the wrong side of the road as far as he's concerned. So
yeah.
The most famous referee on the planet is with us, Ron Ponder.
Hello, everyone.
He's everywhere.
Hey, Ron.
Hello.
Hi, Ron.
Are you off
I don't know how long this will last. I'm on my way to the PPA Invitational that I'm repping at. So
I'll be watching you today.
Hey.
I did hear your voice, Ron, when you were calling the score. I was like, that must be Ron. I recognize that voice.
I recognize that voice.
Me too.
I recognize the legs.
Hey, hello, Manish.
Hello, namaste from India. Namaste,
Hey,
Daniel.
Manish.
Namaste.
Manish, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Namaste.
Absolutely fine.
Great.
Good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
See you, Daniel.
Where's baby?
Yeah, you too, Ron.
John.
I don't know. She might be nursing right now. But
Oh,
she'll pop
Yeah,
in. We'll make a little appearance, I'm sure.
You don't know?
No, she was up at like 5 this morning and crying, so I took her. We went and got some donuts. And had a little daddy-daughter date. But now she's tired. I think she was up so early.
Donuts though, or were they for you?
A little bit of both. Yeah. He likes them. But.
Hey, wow.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
What brand were they?
Do you find donuts in Japan, Daniel?
You can, yeah. There's,
really?
There's a chain called Mr. Donut. So
of course.
actually there is quite a bit of donuts. I don't think they're as bad for you as in the States, but not quite. Yeah.
That's not difficult.
Yeah.
So in fact,
nice.
I thought you did a neat trick actually, Daniel. I saw that you made a nice what's the word, deck, but then you got someone to cook for you when you had the opening ceremony. That's
right. Yeah.
Wow.
I was filming and the barbecue was already going, so it was more like someone saved the meat for me from burning. I started it, but then I started doing something else and I neglected it. So.
All right. Well, we got 12 here. I think that probably we ought to get going. Do you want to Start us off, Roberto.
Yeah, we can start, I guess. Okay, so well, thank you so much. Oh, there's an echo. There's an echo going on.
Whose is that?
So,
yeah.
I'm not sure.
It's okay.
Well, thank you so much, guys. Well, everybody for joining, and yeah, special thank you to John, Daniel, and Scott for being able to join together at the same time. The time difference can be, it can be tricky, but yeah, thanks for joining. I think we have about an hour, if I'm right, Karen. Is it 1 hour we have? Because we are playing in a league this evening, so we head into Kent, which is on the southeast of England. So yeah, so I'm halfway through, but so I think 1 hour will be fine. What do you think, Karen? Is that okay? Yeah. So yeah, so just to give you a bit of background, how did this started? So we obviously when the pandemic started back in March, we we thought maybe all the Bainbridge Cup would be cancelled, other tournaments would be cancelled. So we thought, let's find a way to keep in touch, to stay connected, during this difficult time. And we decided to set up this Zoom group, international players. And then essentially Sarah, who's with us today, had the idea to invite a special guest. And we invited Ben and Colin Jones. So they were the first pro players that joined us. And then we liked that session very much. And we thought, why don't we ask other players, other pros, and but we've invited people that are not players as well. Like we've invited the organizers of the Indian Wells and the US Open as well. I forgot their names now.
Karen Parrish and
yes, thank you, Karen and Melissa. Yes, sorry, I forgot. Yeah, sorry. So essentially we've invited other pros. We've had Simone Jardim, we've had Irina, Lucy Kovalova, and Dave Weinbach. So we thought, we want to have you on board as well. So here we are.
Awesome.
Great. Yeah.
So I mean, we've sent you some questions. Apologies if they were sent last minute. We sent you some questions that mainly they were from Karen and Susan. So I guess we can maybe start from those questions. If you want to pick up maybe some and answer some of them. I don't know if you received them. Did you see them?
Yeah, I did. I have to close my deal to look at them though.
Yeah, I did. I don't have them in front of me, so if you can ask.
Well, we can ask. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that helps. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just going to switch to the.
I've got the ones that I sent. If you want me to start while you're trying.
Okay. Yeah, you can start with yours, Karen. Great.
So actually, as Daniel came on first, I'll start with Daniel.
Okay.
Daniel, you.
I'm gonna get sleepiest the first too. Yeah. So.
You obviously love Japan, and your pictures certainly make it look wonderful. What attracts you to stay there?
Well, yeah. So, I thought that was an interesting question. I grew up in Japan for 16 years, and our whole family lived there. So, I think I was there till I was 16. And when I moved back to the States, I'd never actually lived in the US before, never been to American school or anything. So my time in the US was much shorter, I think, than the rest of my family. So I think I just kind of, got the Japanese side more than the rest of my family, maybe.
So it's
yeah, it feels like home, but I really like it as a base. I don't really want to be here the whole year, but I like being able to come back here. It's a really nice place to come back to. And outside of pickleball, the things I want to do like hiking and snowboarding and things like that are all here as well. So I really like just the area I'm in and the nature and food and everything. So
Brilliant.
Yeah, we see your pictures on social media, Dario.
Yeah, it's my other business is guiding people around Japan. So try to keep posting for that.
Great.
Yeah.
So should I switch around, or should I keep with Daniel?
Maybe switch around, or yeah, it's up to you, Daniel. If you feel like you're in the mood.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, okay. Either way.
All right. So Scott, we know you introduced your men, or your boy. I was going to say boys, but they're men really. Your men to pickleball. But who introduced you to pickleball, and when, where was it that you started playing?
Well, it was just a friend of mine we played volleyball with named John Foss. I'm eternally indebted to him. He had played and he said, Scott, I got this new game I want you to come play called pickleball. And I thought, doesn't sound that great, but what is it? He told me, you got a paddle and a ball. And I said, okay, I'm in, because anytime I got a paddle or racket in my hand, I'm a happy camper. I've pretty much grown up with playing sports and consider myself a racket sport junkie. So that was 2012.
2012.
In Colorado Springs, and we had to shovel the snow off before we played, and tape the lines, and it wasn't easy, but we got into it. And then my first tournament was the next year in 2013 in nationals, and got a silver medal, and I was hooked. I was determined I was going to become a national/world champion. And when Daniel moved back from Africa in 2014, I told him the same thing. I said, look, I'm pretty much guaranteeing this is your one and only chance to be best in the world at something. And if you train with me 6 months while the getting is good, before a lot of people get into it, we can be champions. And he took me up on it. And sure enough, in 2014, we both won gold medals in nationals and singles.
Fantastic.
Is that because, Daniel, is it because he's your dad? You just do whatever he tells you to do?
Well, yeah, not anymore. I've learned better. I've learned better now. But no, I had just come back from Kenya. I lived in Africa for 2 years, completely unrelated to travel or pickleball. And I just moved back to the States. And so I was doing a bunch of different things, coaching high school tennis and doing a little bit of guiding for Japanese. But it was really fortunate that I had the time to train too. And, and then once after winning gold in 2014, you kind of have to keep going back. So I kept training and kept going back to play in the big tournaments. So
yeah. And what about you, John? Were you the last two in the family to start, or did you start at the same time or earlier?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. So Kai and I were living in Japan, and so I had kind of watched from afar as they got really into pickleball and thought it was a little bit silly, and kind of told myself that I was never going to start playing. But then when I moved back to the U.S., I got roped into going down to the Caribbean for some coaching. And it was pretty funny.
Isn't it, John? That must have been
rough life.
I know. But the funny thing was, it was like I'd never really even played pickleball before. So I was like, how am I supposed to go and, coach people in a camp? But I'd watched enough of my dad and brother playing. And so I kind of had an idea of, okay, like this is, what you want to do and thinking and things like that. And so that was kind of the start of it for me. I think that was in November of 2017 must have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so, after that I was kind of like, okay, this is a way I can maybe make a little bit of money and do some teaching. And, we'd been talking about kind of the travel business, which we now have pickleball trips. And so, I got to a point where I was just like, well, I better actually start playing and getting into it if I'm going to be, taking people on trips to play and teaching people how to play. So I think it was really January 2018 when I was like, all right, I'm going to
not very long.
Yeah, not too long. But yeah, I think I the main thing for me too was realizing that it was actually a fun game, because I'd only ever played with my dad or brother, and so I really didn't enjoy it that much. Just getting destroyed every time I went out on the court. But
it's a little competitive.
Yeah, and it's a pretty competitive environment in our family, so it's not exactly welcoming.
Who is the most competitive between amongst the three of you?
Daniel.
Oh, my dad.
Yeah,
dad for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a younger brother who plays too, and he gets pretty into it too. But we're all competitive, I guess, in our own.
Yeah.
On the court, and then you see a new side to him. So he can deceive you.
Yeah, and the yes, and the pickleball trips. When did that start? That new sort of like project. Did it start? When was that? And
I think our first trip was 2016. Daniel decided he wanted to take people.
It was 2015 actually.
Was it?
But yeah, basically I was guiding in Japan. I was doing, and I still continue to do different walking, hiking, snowshoeing sort of outdoor trips in Japan. And so we sort of said, why don't we combine pickleball and the stuff that I'm doing in Japan? I mean, I can guide people around Japan, and then we just need to add pickleball to it. So for the first 2 years, we really only did Japan trips. And then actually I think the main reason we got into other trips was because Steve Wong was supposed to take people to Spain, and he pulled out like 3 months before the trip to Spain was supposed to happen.
All right.
And so Mike Hess asked us to take over the trip, and I got Simone to help me, but there was a hurricane and Simone couldn't come. So then I had 24 people by myself taking around Spain. But so I think that was kind of our introduction into non-Japan and non-US trips. But then, I think, and John, and I guess Dad, you started taking people to Mexico as well around that time, and it just kind of grew from there. Yeah.
And they just kept asking us to take them to different places, and every time we took a trip, it was like people showed up and had a great time and told their friends, and so by the time COVID hit, we had a dozen international trips planned for this year, and we're having the time of our lives until boom, kind of got shut down.
Well, COVID has obviously affected so many tournaments, travel plans, holidays, and lives and all the rest of it. But for you as a family, it must have been particularly brutal.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal for anyone in the travel industry. So, they went from a fantastic year to a pretty terrible year, but that's how it goes. So sorry, Roberto, I interrupted.
Oh no, sorry, Daniel, I interrupted you there.
No, go ahead.
I was curious to know whether you had some trips planned for these coming months, and that you're hoping to go ahead with if you have anything scheduled.
So we still have a Belize trip on the books for now, although Belize just extended their ban on Americans traveling to Belize, so I'm not sure if that's gonna happen. And then we have Bermuda too, right, guys?
Bermuda and Cabo is
next year. Yeah,
so we think we're going to be able to pull that one off in December, but
December. Yeah,
never know.
Oh, I'd love to be in Cabo in December.
So we're just kind of on hold.
Great.
We're planning.
Yeah. We're trying to proceed as if there will be trips, but we don't really know.
it's difficult to predict what's going to happen in winter. We having second waves here in Europe at the moment. Although it seems different from when it all started, because it seems the people getting the virus are a lot younger, and there's a 50% or something like that of people with the virus, they're asymptomatic, so they're fine. They don't need hospitalization. They don't need care. So maybe yeah, I don't know. They say maybe the virus is not as strong as it was when it started. But it's difficult to know what's going to happen next.
Well, let's hope that that's true. By the way, I want to say that Tuomo is there with lots of pickleball friends. They've been having a little tournament.
Ah, yes.
So they're there with a lot of pickleball friends, but I think they're having some volume problems, so they may not be able to ask questions. But Tuomo is certainly there with a number of his pickleball playing friends. Hi, Tuomo.
Hi, Pickleball Finland.
Great.
I don't actually. Maybe you can't even hear.
He can't hear and he can't speak.
No. Evo, hi, Tuomo.
He can only see us.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, hello.
Yeah.
Anyway, so some more hot and sweaty people there. Oh, dear. So
yeah, they wanted to say hello to you because they couldn't make it, but they wanted to say hello to you guys. Yeah.
We'll be there someday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Daniel was saying that he spent the first 16 years of his life in Japan, and that was presumably because you took him there, Scott. So what took you to Japan?
Well, I was there in college and got fascinated with the culture just for an exchange program, and basically 7 years later was given a scholarship by the Japanese government to get a master's degree. And it was one of those deals that was just too good to turn down. And I'd always wanted to live abroad, learn another language, and so forth. And so we decided to take it, and then found out that Susan was pregnant with Daniel. So we're like, oh no, can you really raise children abroad? And we decided to go for it. It was only 2 years, and during that 2 years, we just fell in love with it and decided we'd like to stay. We sent Daniel to a little nursery school, and he came home speaking Japanese, and we were like, wow, this could be really cool for our children's education. And we also started traveling a little bit in Asia and loving that, and it was just like a perfect place we felt like to raise our children. We never locked the doors at night. We never had any crime concerns. People were very kind to us. We learned another language and culture. And then after I graduated, I started a business, which went very well. So we had a kind of a business that was thriving as well, and we just ended up staying 16 years. It was such an amazing experience internationally, and we traveled to probably 15 different countries while we were there, and as a family, just had an amazing time.
You in particular must have been pretty tall against the Japanese, though, right?
Yeah, I was kind of a freak show on the trains, but fortunately on the crowded trains, I could still breathe when everybody was like sardines up with each other. I had the air up above, so that may have saved me.
Brilliant. And John, you were saying you were in Japan when Daniel and Scott got their first medal, so obviously you weren't in any hurry to come back to the US then.
Yeah, so after Kai and I graduated from university, it was actually more her decision. She knew that I had spent a lot of my life in Japan, and but at the same time she never been and didn't really know anything about Japanese culture, so she really kind of wanted to understand more of that side of me. And I mean it's essentially, for Daniel, he was there most of his life. For me, it was about half of my childhood, so I kind of consider that half of who I am. And so she actually brought up the idea of going over and teaching English for a couple years and spending some time there, because she kind of wanted to understand what I had always talked about growing up in Japan and things like that. So so we went over there and got placed in a tiny little Japanese countryside town, and really had an amazing experience.
You guys you're not afraid of doing things, are you? Any of you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when you grow up in another country too, you know, it's like it just opens up the world so much. And you know, if you can live and grow up in somewhere like Japan, then nothing's really that kind of out there for us, I think. So, yeah.
We really enjoyed watching you, John, and Scott play in the Bainbridge Cup in Italy in 2018. I actually refereed your match against Carlo and Ernesto. Was it a finals or a semi-finals? I can't remember actually. I have to say I was so excited watching the match. I'm not sure I was watching, you know, what was really happening or anything, but you know, it was very exciting. And
so many footfalls not seen.
I've heard a lot. I've heard a lot about this match too. Wrist breaking and.
Oh yes, I remember Scott. Oh my God.
I'll give a shout out to John. After the Bainbridge in Italy, all my clothes were dirty and I was on a bicycle, so I went to a laundromat and was doing laundry there. And in comes this young man, John, and I'll introduce myself, and we had a nice 30-minute conversation. And you did a good job, Scott. He was very respectful to an old person who he had no idea who I was. So.
And I do remember thinking, like, you know, who's this crazy guy that's biking across Europe and has to stop at the laundromats to wash his clothes? And so that's
brave.
Now knowing you, yeah.
But then you spent an awful lot of time in Europe after that. So you've seen play in the US and you've seen play in Europe. So, John, what advice have you got for us in Europe to help grow pickleball?
Yeah, I mean, kind of more from a general perspective, I guess, just keeping at it. I know it feels like, you know, it's small and it kind of takes a long time. And I know, you know, in Europe, and I think this is true in the US too, it might just be everywhere that pickleball is growing, but, you know, you do meet kind of a lot of resistance and people aren't necessarily helpful all the time, maybe, you know, if you're trying to get courts to reserve, or it's just new. So I think, you know, really keeping in mind that, I mean, it took 50 or 60 years for pickleball in the US to get to the point where it is today. And I think, you know, you are fortunate in the sense that because it's already, you know, had kind of a breakthrough in the US and maybe in Canada now, I think that it won't take near as long for you all to get to that point where it really is, you know, a popular sport and people, even in the US now, I mean, not everyone knows what it is, but when you mention it, most of the time, it seems like now people know what it is. So yeah, I think just staying, you know, persistent and continuing to fight for the growth of pickleball. And then, I mean, you know, specifically as far as on the pickleball course and things like that, I think just there's so many resources out there as far as, you know, this is the way that pickleball should be played. And I think, you know, one of the things I encountered is that, you know, I would say certain areas, it's really easy. It's kind of insular and, you know, you just play with each other. So if some people maybe start practicing some bad habits or things like that, then it can really easily, you know, spread throughout the group and everyone kind of does those things. And then when you play really high level or good players, you know, it sort of gets exposed. And so I think just continuing to remind each other of what, you know, is good pickleball and, you know, if you can kind of spread it throughout your clubs and then, you know, the neighboring clubs, when you start new clubs, then, you know, teaching them. So yeah, working on the fundamentals and kind of what you know to be good pickleball, I think. Because I did encounter that some, and, you know, it's been fun for me to kind of be able to point it out and be like, hey, you know, this probably doesn't work very well, so maybe work on this. So, yeah.
To that point, this is in Asia, but I got to Singapore like 3 years ago, and they were playing indoors with the Duraball. And it was like playing on ice. It's just like the ball would just like shoot off the court, and so everyone would stay back and hit ground strokes because I mean, you could not dink. I couldn't dink with that ball. So they had these really bad habits and they'd played for like 25 years that way.
Wow.
So I said, get some indoor balls and start dinking. And to their credit, you know, Janet and that whole group actually did implement those things. So change, it can be really quick once there's small changes made too, I think. So, yeah.
So, Scott, we saw the recent announcement about your new business venture, actually, the Aspire Sports. Do you want to talk to us about that?
Yeah, I'm really excited. We've had, this international venues all over, and we're continuing to build that. But what we found out is, that we probably need somewhere domestic that people can drive to be able to continue to take people on pickleball trips. And Susan and I have actually been looking for years for a place to spend the winters. We love Colorado for about 8 months of the year, but 4 months it gets really cold. So we've been traveling throughout Southern California, Arizona, Hawaii, Mexico, and so forth, Thailand, and the winters, but never had a real place to call home. And a friend of mine last year said, "Hey, Scott," he came to Ixtapa with us, "would you be interested in partnering, because we need a pickleball, pro and some credibility in a venture that we're going to build." I said, "Tell me about it." When he finished, I said, "Well, that sounds exactly like what I've been looking for." And how I describe it, Karen, is probably the world's premier pickleball destination resort, where we have 80 RV spots so people can drive and stay as long as they want. They can play as long as they can and eat good food. And we'll have everything and we'll also have 40 casitas. So if you don't have an RV, you can come and stay in a casita. We'll have excellent restaurant. We'll have fitness facilities. We'll have another general court for volleyball, badminton, basketball, foot soccer, golf simulators. So we'll have something for everybody, families or individuals. And I think it's going to really be an amazing place that we hope a lot of people will come, not just from America,
So
from all over the world.
So when do you
and John and I will be, and Daniel will be there some, and so.
Hey, just want to say hi from Dave and Ron.
Who is that?
So,
Hi, Dave.
What's up?
Who let this guy on the call?
Gary.
Hi, Daniel. Hi, Scott. Hi, Karen.
Hi.
Don.
Hey,
Hi, John.
hey, Dave.
Where are you guys?
Good to see you.
He's getting prepared.
Where are you guys?
Secret location outside Salt Lake City.
Okay.
So there may be other people say hi too. We'll see.
All right. Perfect.
So when do you expect this to open, Scott? And when can I book my casita?
Yeah.
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 We are hoping for it will be open next summer. We're going through the city approval process, so depending on how many changes we have to make, and we're raising money right now. Ideally, the RV park will be separate. It will be open in the spring, and the actual facility probably late summer of next year, if all goes well.
And Ernie's asked where it is.
Hey,
Yeah,
guys, I'm sorry. I've got to.
See you, Ron.
Bye.
Hi, Ron.
Hi, Ron.
Bye, Ron.
Ron.
We'll see ya. Here's Jesse warming up. So
Yeah, exactly.
we'll see y'all. Bye.
Have fun, Ron.
So it's Prescott, Arizona,
Oh, okay.
which is strategically positioned between the Grand Canyon and Phoenix, not far from a place called Sedona, which is some of the more beautiful rock formations around. So it's got a lot of appeal, even skiing about an hour away.
I'll be there in November then.
Yeah, I'm coming too.
Yeah, it's my dream playland, amusement center. So come join us.
Yeah, we will.
Well, if I can ask a question, I'd like to. As a pickleball manufacturer, I've been into pickleball not as long as you, but my question for all of you is, what paddle do you play with, and what is it that you like about the paddle?
Daniel, you want to answer that?
Who wants to go? Well, yeah, I mean, I feel like you can probably answer our involvement with Paddle Tech better, but I mean, we all play with Paddle Tech to answer your question. That's the short answer. We started with like Champion paddles and then found Paddle Tech, and for me, it was just so moving up to that Paddle Tech was it was just a completely different feel, and I liked the quality. And from then on, we've just been involved and sponsored by PaddleTech the whole time. So we've kind of kept with them. Sorry?
Do you weight the paddle at all? Do you guys make any sort of small little modifications to the paddle?
Actually, I do. Before I just, took the paddle and played with whatever. And as the game has evolved and gotten more technical, I have gone to a heavier and heavier paddle. And I love it. I mean, I have a hand speed trainer, so I've strengthened my forearm and shoulder. And now I believe that playing with a heavier paddle, it goes through the ball easier. So I don't have to swing as hard, get more control. And it's really improved my game. So I play with about a 9-ounce paddle now.
That's similar to Ben Johns, and I noticed you're probably built that just like him.
The paddle that I love. Sorry?
I said, yeah, like Ben Johns, you've got that strong, big muscle.
Well, I've developed it, but yes, I mean, over time. And I play with a Tempest Wave Pro, which I love because even though it's heavy, it's very soft. It has graphite facing.
Right.
And so the ball stays on it a little longer, and you can get a little extra spin and a little extra control with it. So I like a soft, heavy paddle. And for me, it's just got everything I'm looking for in a paddle, and I've even switched to it to play singles recently. Used to play with a
one shoulder developed, or are you working both of them, Scott?
Yeah.
I'm glad you found my jokes funny, John.
I get your humor. We stayed with you for a while, so. I think we all do, though, play with fairly soft paddles, I would say, as far as kind of the scale goes, because, none of us are necessarily need to generate a ton of power, but, especially with high-level doubles, I mean, you really have to be able to control the ball, and that's kind of usually, who wins matches, who can control it better. So,
really is true.
I think we all kind of focus more on the soft game and softer paddles, and that really helps us. Having a soft paddle helps us with the control. What do you think, Holland?
Hello, Holland.
What do you think? Other people? You see them?
Hi, Holland.
He will eat you up. Be careful.
Yeah.
I'm sure she'll be on the pickleball course very soon.
Yeah, we're working on walking, and then that's the next step is putting a pickleball.
I gave her first paddle about 2 months ago. So.
Oh, really?
Really?
Gotta start him early. You start him early.
My future world champion granddaughter.
Yeah.
Yes. But these guys, these two guys had paddles in their hands before they were 2 years old. So they were more ping pong paddles, but I was always throwing balls to them and playing. And so they've developed very good hand-eye coordination early in life. And fortunately, they say the sports gene comes down from the mother, so they got their mother's very, very high level sports genes. So that worked out well too.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well done, Susan. Now, Susan, you're part of pickleball royalty with your men, but do they treat you as a queen? That's what I want to know.
Always.
But the queen is in Oregon painting and
They're making me paint. They're making me paint. Oh.
You get some fringe benefits of hanging out with the Holland, though.
That's right.
There's your paddle.
A nice paddle tag.
Yeah, the paddle tag.
We need a slightly smaller one, I think.
It's her favorite toy. This is her favorite toy.
Favorite toy. I love that.
Who's asking the next question?
Don't know. David.
There you go. There's a question for you. I don't know if you can hear me, guys. So welcome and thank you. Just a quick question, really. Is which part of your game do you really enjoy the most? To all three of you.
Good question.
John, to you. Which?
I'll go first.
Yeah. I actually love hitting third shot drops. I know that's kind of rare maybe and weird, but I think because it's such a challenge and, people have a hard time with it, I think it's, yeah, I kind of enjoy that. And then I think the other fun thing about it is that, especially when you get into higher levels, and something I've been noticing a lot lately is whoever can really hit good third shots, it's amazing what it does for a game. I mean, it's like, if your third shot drops are on, and if you're hitting them really well, then it's just hard for, you get a lot of pop-ups. And so, yeah, I really actually surprisingly enjoy hitting drops, even though most people don't. But
Daniel?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think what people say is my best shot is probably my backhand, like that put away backhand shot. I think I can generate quite a bit of power from that. So, and a lot of people have a hard time, hitting hard off the backhand side. So, I really like kind of looking at the mechanics of that and saying, okay, how do I actually, because it's not, I'm not the strongest person out there, but like, how do you hit hard without actually just muscling the ball or swinging harder? And it's all about, how you position your body and how you move it. So I find that really interesting. But,
thank you, Scott.
David, I'm going to say a shot that I just developed over the last year or two. Never did it the first 5 years I played, and that's the lob. Hitting an effective lob over someone and watching them have to scramble back and run for it out of position and taking control of the point has really been a fun kind of learning skill for me, and I use it more and more, especially in mixed doubles. But I love hitting a good effective lob now.
And only in seniors, right?
I gotta say, for me, that is my favorite.
He doesn't lob us very much.
I got to say, for me, being more mature years, that is something that's I really love to do. And again, just drawing somebody in and then just pop one up to the back court. Luckily, most of them go in. It does bring a smile to my face, I've got to say.
Absolutely.
I remember when we first played, Dave, you gave me lots of lobs.
Some of them came off, but and I think I nearly got 1 point off of you in a game, so I was quite chuffed with that. And I've got to say, John Holland, she looks beautiful. So congratulations.
She really does. Yeah.
Thank you,
guys. I might have to. I climbed like the biggest mountain I've ever climbed today.
Oh, there you go.
And so it's about midnight, so I might have to pull out ahead of my dad and my brother, but
thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you,
it was a pleasure. Yeah.
Lovely to see you, Daniel.
Thanks for
thanks.
I would love to join again on the call. So
Great.
thanks.
Yeah, keep safe.
Yeah.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah. Thanks,
All
Daniel.
right. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
So who wants to ask the next question then?
I had a question. So based on the question that Dave has asked, so we've asked this question to some of the pros. What change do you forecast in pickleball? So what do you think will change in pickleball? Do you think the game will change? Do you think they'll be more powerful? Will be more intense? Do you think it won't change much? What do you think the change will be, if there is a change?
Are you talking about the pro level or in general?
Yes. Okay. The pro level.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so at the pro level, I mean, what we're seeing is just these premier professional athletes from other sports are getting in more and more as pickleball is becoming more well-known, getting TV coverage, more money, and so forth. So at least in the men's group, every year there are people that come out of nowhere and they get to the top of the game just because they're such great athletes and are able to learn, especially the singles side, very quickly. Doubles takes them a little longer, but so the game is just getting more intense. The points are getting longer. The resets are just incredible. The skill that people are showing is just developing more and more. And even even in the seniors, you know, before it was, I was able to win with various partners and so forth. Now, you know, if I don't have the right partner and we don't have the right strategy and chemistry and whatever, you know, we're not winning. So I've just seen it get much more competitive, and I think it's going to continue to do that for every shot, you know, from return of serve to just dinking more skillfully and better volleys, you know, not getting away with any high shots. I mean, it's just, and that trend I think is just going to continue to get better. So the skill level and, you know, the play is just, quality is increasing every year.
Do you think it will become more like, you know, fast, more intense game? Do you think or do you think that?
Well, I think, you know, people say that, but, you know, I still believe in the bottom of my heart that the soft game trumps the hard game. So I think the best players in the world will still be the best dinkers and droppers. You know, at that level, anybody can hit it hard, and, you know, the power is there, but who can reset it, who can avoid being attacked, that bottom line, even at the highest level, is still the essence of great pickleball, premier pickleball, we call it, elite pickleball. And I don't think that's going to change because of the kitchen line and so forth.
As a tangent,
it's still going to be a finesse game.
Sorry. As a tangent,
Sorry, go ahead.
No, as a tangent to that, though, you said the soft game trumps the hard game. I was in several matches last week where there were 3, let's say, ex-tennis players banging, right? And I played the soft game. But what I found was that because I'm at the net and they keep going back, they neutralize me. What should I have done?
Oh, that's a great question. And actually, this just happened. I don't know if any of you guys saw it. It was on ESPN, but the final of the Newport Beach mixed doubles match.
Can't get it over here.
Yvonne Ting and I played Helen Willis and Chris Miller, and they literally hardly dinked one ball. And we beat them the first time in the winner's bracket final. But in the gold medal match, the first game, they just banged us off the court. We were getting it too high, and we couldn't control it. And we were down like 8-0 before we came back. We still got beat 11-8. But eventually what we were able to do, Karen, was dial it in and start softening it up, getting it to their feet. If it's at their feet soft and they hit it hard, it's either an opportunity for you to pick it off or it's going to go out. And so we started ducking as an effective strategy because they were hitting right at us. They missed a few balls. Then they had to start thinking about it. And once we turned it, you know, by softening it up on them, they had no answer. We beat them 11-4, 11-4 the last 2 games.
Wow.
So that's the answer. Whatever your level is the bangers are one-dimensional for the most part. And if you can slow it down, it takes a skill. It takes developing your reset. It takes developing your drop shot. I get it, your dinks. But if you can do that, you can disarm the bangers, as we say.
Great. Thank you for that free advice.
Free advice, yeah.
I'm playing again tonight, so I'm going to put it into good use.
Yeah, just try to get it back at their feet softly, and that's the answer every time.
In depth, yeah.
Good point, Ernie. Don't feed the beast. Well done.
Yeah, we love those live hard balls.
Okay, so anyone else got any other questions?
I was going to say, got another question. So partners, you mentioned partners. Who would be your ideal partner if you could, anybody in the world that you could have that you could keep hold of? Who would they be in men's doubles and mixed?
Oh,
yes, me or John? John, you want to say?
Both of you. John first, please.
Oh gosh, I mean,
be careful, John.
It doesn't matter. I mean, probably someone like Ben Johns. If I'm gonna, you know, shoot for the stars, then that would probably be. Although I don't know how supportive he is as a partner, because that's something that's really important too. Obviously, you know, as somebody who doesn't get, you know, too caught up in the moment. And I think there was a question somebody posted about who I like playing with better, my dad or.
Yeah.
My answer is neither. Yeah, he's harder on me, and it's kind of funny too, because, you know, Daniel, most people don't think that he would be that competitive, but once he gets on the court, he's gets pretty into it, and I'm his little brother, so he's pretty hard on me. But
is this a scoop, or do they know already?
yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, as far as, I don't know. I haven't necessarily played, as many tournaments, obviously not near as many as my dad or brother. And so I haven't really had the opportunity to play with that many people. But as far as just, what things I kind of look for in a partner, I think it is kind of, level-headedness and being supportive. And then obviously, I would say probably playing a fairly similar style, or at least having a similar mentality as far as pickleball goes. Like my dad was saying, I mean, if you go out there and you're playing a banger, this happens to me all the time if I'm just playing kind of pickup pickleball, like I'll run into the net assuming that my partner's going to drop the third shot, and then he hits, a hard one high and you get it slammed at you and you're like, oh, this isn't fun. So yeah, I would say those are kind of the main things I'd look for. I mean, you obviously want to have someone that's a similar skill level, because you don't want to feel like you're constantly having to do so much to, win the match. And you also don't want to feel like you're dragging them down. So of course that's a big one. But yeah, I think outside of that, I would personally look for more kind of personality things, and, somebody who's going to be okay under pressure and not, you don't want to ruin your relationship, outside of pickleball too. So that's kind of
sure. And Scott, what about yourself?
Well, for me, I would probably say on the men's side, even though it is very tough, Daniel. My favorite moment in pickleball ever was the 2018 Bend Regional, where Daniel and I won the 5-0 50 plus and beat, some of the top pros.
19 plus, yeah.
19 plus, yeah. So getting to play with the young guys and winning, Dave Weinbach and I have had some great wins over, young guys half our age. But all in all, it would be probably Daniel. For sure on the men's side, although he'll only play one tournament a year with me, which is fair. But it's hard on him. But anyway.
Birthday present then, Scott.
Yeah, so, sorry?
Is that your birthday present? One tournament a year?
Yeah, it is basically. He's kept it up till this year when COVID, but we were going to play one. But last year we had a great win in Vail. We beat Adam Stone and Deckel Barr, and took third in a very high level pro tournament. So it's been pretty special. I love the Italian Open, winning with John in one of his first tournaments. That was special. So yeah, playing with your kids is amazing. Next year I'm going to do something I've never done, and that is play almost exclusively with one guy and interestingly enough, I've never played with him before, so it's risky, but we just have become pretty close friends. I think we'll be great together, but we'll see. But I'm playing 20 tournaments with him.
Oh,
his name is Rick Witzkin from Indianapolis. So we'll see how that goes.
First and see how you get on.
Yeah, I probably should. But what happens in the pro level is people get partners so far ahead of time that I already have every tournament scheduled with a partner for every one of the 23 tournaments I'm playing next year.
Wow.
So it's crazy.
23 tournaments. Now, Ernie's got a question for you, Scott. You tend to serve backhand a lot. What's your rationale for that?
Yeah, great question, Ernie. Initially, it was I had the yips a little bit on my forehand, and I just found that sometimes I couldn't get it in. But I think the motion on your backhand pulling from your shoulder is a little more natural. So once I developed that, it just became extremely comfortable for me. It also moves from right to left. So if there's a right to left wind, I can make it move, 3 to 5 feet. People aren't used to it. Sometimes they don't watch the ball carefully. I win some free points. And it makes me a little less predictable, I think, which I like in pickleball. Not many people do it, so that's another reason I really like it. And if they're stacking against me, Ernie, on the deuce side, and the guy is over there, I can literally usually take him way off the court. So I call it my stack breaker, and he can't recover if I get.
Oh, sorry, that's me. I've got to stop.
For all those reasons, I love the backhand serve.
What's going on?
Thanks, Scott.
Sorry.
Uh-oh, we got the echo back.
Wow.
Sorry, I wanted to start my phone because we have to leave for where we're going, and I didn't want the meeting to have to end, but because I'm still here, I've got a double echo, so I don't know what to do really.
Could you turn on the phone and then turn your computer off?
Like, well, it'll leave.
Or no, I mean turn the phone
Mute it,
on
you
and
mean.
then mute the.
Yeah,
Computer.
I'll try and figure it out. You carry on. Sorry, Scott. Sorry.
No worries. Yeah, I think I got through that. Did that answer your question, Ernie?
Yeah, that was good. Thank you.
Okay. And I actually did a video on it. If you want to, learn how to do it, there's a free video
Yeah,
out there.
I should add that. I never served backhand, so I should add it.
Yeah, it's a nice tool to have in your toolbox, right, for higher level.
Just while waiting for our next question, Scott, I know you referenced volleyball a couple of times. I come from a beach volleyball, indoor volleyball. Did you play beach volleyball? And if you did, when you play outdoors, did you really find that the transition to playing pickleball outdoors really helped with being able to understand the wind and the sun and everything?
Yes, I think beach volleyball. I do play beach pickleball now too, but beach volleyball is a great training aid. I mean, all my boys played. That was their team sport, so they play a little higher level volleyball than I do. But we would go wherever we were traveling in the world to the beach and pick up games or play doubles among the four of us. And I think the movement, the defensive style and stuff is extremely beneficial for pickleball. I can tell when I'm giving a lesson or doing a clinic with somebody who's played volleyball before, just because their court sense and presence and the way they get low on the ball is just different from people that haven't played. So absolutely think that is a phenomenal help for people that have played, in particular volleyball. Badminton helped me and Daniel and I with our reflexes. It's such a fast sport. So lots of different sports helped us. Volleyball, in particular, beach volleyball being one of them for certain, David.
Thank you.
Scott, I have a question for you.
Yes.
I saw a recent recent match where you got hit in the eye from a ricochet off your partner. So do you think with the game changing and, like you said, these top athletes are coming in, do you think that eyewear will be mandatory like it is in racquetball eventually, given that we're different than tennis?
Yeah, it should be. It's going to save somebody's eye. I've been hit several times in the eye, but I always wear eyewear. So, one time I was playing with Dave Weinbach, he hit it off of his paddle right into my sunglasses, broke my sunglasses. I was hit off Rich Lopez paddle in the tournament Saturday in Newport Beach, and it just smacked me right in the glasses. But again, that's protected me. So yeah, I think it should be mandatory. I think it's crazy to play without it. I see people playing without it all the time, but it's dangerous. I mean, you don't have your eyesight, not only can you not play pickleball, but it's going to change your life. So protecting your eyes is one of the most important things I think you can do on the pickleball court.
Yeah. Okay.
I appreciate
thanks.
that you're promoting that.
We're trying. We're trying. So
I'd love to help you in any way I can. If you want me to help you.
Well, it helps. They say it helps if more pros did it, then it would trickle down to the rec and junior players. So that's great.
Exactly.
But we'll talk more about that later.
Yeah, I want to talk more about it because I need some prescription ones. But anyway.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
I just noticed that Gemma from Spain has just joined us. Hola, Gemma.
Hello, everybody. Saludos a todos.
¿Dónde estás?
Saludos de Dani. Estoy en Almería, al sur de Spain.
Very nice. I can see a beautiful sky.
Sí. Siento haberme entrado tarde, pero aquí el tiempo... Estábamos en la playa.
No pasa nada. Gracias por venir. Scott and John, do you understand Spanish? Do you speak Spanish?
Yeah, we're both conversant.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like our Japanese where we actually are totally fluent, but we...
Dani speaks a little Spanish in Madrid.
Sí, Daniel también puede. más práctica. Vamos a
Sí. Y
encontrarla.
Scott in Germany speak a little Spanish with
Yeah,
me and
yeah.
with Carmen Lopez, the
Sí.
disabled woman.
Sí.
Yes. Thank you.
Oh, let's hope, Gemma, we have the Spanish Open next year. We can all come to Madrid.
Yeah.
I hope.
Esperemos.
That'd be great.
Yes.
Yeah. Just having a look at if there's any other questions we haven't covered. I'm just going to switch to the questions. Let's see. Oh, there was a question from Susan. I think this is one of the questions we end with the meeting, but we can have more questions after this. So, what is your dream for pickleball? So, what do you want to see in the future that in pickleball you haven't seen yet? John, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I actually didn't see that one, so I have to think about it a little bit. For me, at least.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it probably was.
No, it's fine. At least at the U.S. level, and of course, eventually maybe internationally. But one of the things I've been thinking about recently, I just moved back to Eugene, which is in Oregon, and it's where the University of Oregon is, which is a really big university and kind of has a lot of high-level sports and things like that. And so I would love to see pickleball be a university-level sport someday. I mean, I think that's probably, who knows, 15 or 20 years down the road from now. Thank you. Yeah, I think, at least in the U.S., that's kind of, it's basically our semi-pro league, essentially. So, once you get it into universities, then that trickles into the pros. And I think that's when a sport's kind of really made it. And especially, having Holland now, if she could someday get, some sort of scholarship to play pickleball at the university level, then I think that's really, that would be, like you said, a dream. So for me, yeah, that's another big one. And I'd love to be a part of it too. I think even, being able to coach at a university level or something like that. And especially, like I said, as she grows up, and, that's probably around the time when it's possible, I think. So
John, just to follow on from that, that's something that I'm trying to really push here in England, and the university I work at as a sports facility manager, we've got the first university pickleball club, in Canterbury, in Kent, and so I'm really trying hard to push it to other universities, and we were gaining some traction before COVID came in. So that's something that I'm going to really push again later on. So yeah, no, that's where I see it in this country as well.
That's amazing. Yeah, I remember we talked about that, getting it in the universities, and that you were, you're the perfect person for it. I mean, being, in the system already. So, and I'm sure, pickleball is so widely played here too, that I'm sure there are people in similar, positions who are already involved that love pickleball. And, it just takes kind of some people like that going in and saying, hey, what do you think about this? So I'm not even sure if we have any clubs here yet, university level club pickleball being played or not, but I don't know. It's possible. But if not, I think that's, the way to start it. And then eventually, if we can get it to actually be university, scholarship, a scholarship sport, then that would really be amazing. So
I have two answers to that. My first and pat answer is to see it become an Olympic sport and to be the coach for the U.S. team. So that would be my first dream goal for it. And my second one is for all tournaments to adopt a grandfather-grandchild event so that I can start playing with my grandkids in tournaments. And I think that would be an absolute blast. So those are my two.
Is it in America? Have you ever played with a couple, the granddad and grandchild?
Yes, I've played with it before, and it's a beautiful sight. So I was extremely jealous and hopeful for the future. Inspired, probably, let's say. So
yeah, very inspirational.
Scott, I know you said that you really enjoyed playing, with your son. I played with Harrison, who's 17, and I went so fortunate enough to play in the US Open in 2016. Yes. But then I came back, my son started playing, and then 1 year later, 2017 US Open, I was playing with him, and it was unbelievable to play with my son. And that's a day I will never, ever forget. Yeah,
it's awesome. It is awesome. I'll always cherish that too, memories with John. And I hadn't played with my youngest son in a tournament, but he's my new training partner here in Colorado Springs. So, it's a lot of fun. Obviously, with Daniel, we've had some great memories as well. So, yeah. And one of my best memories actually was, I think it was 2016, where Daniel's grandfather, who's actually my stepfather, won a gold medal in 85 plus singles the same day I won the 50 plus singles, and Daniel won the 19 plus singles. So that was 3 generations, same family winning a gold medal at nationals. So that was pretty special. Well,
wow, that's great. Well, I think I can access the Karen, and you're on the line. I cannot access the email. I've got internet issues. I'm just gonna try again.
Hey, I want to ask how Susan holds her own against all the more men. I know she plays. So how does Susan hold her own?
Survival.
Yeah, I don't exactly hold my own on the pickleball court, but they're pretty nice to me for the most part. Except they laugh. They laugh as they slam me with the ball. Not Scott, really, but Scott and I actually do occasionally play a rec game together. If I'm the next best possible choice to complete his foursome, I get dragged over. It's not that often, but we do okay for the most part. I just say, okay, be nice to me, and we do okay. But we would never play together for real. I did play with John at the U.S. Open a few years ago. And John talks about, dad and brother being pretty tough on him. He was a little tough on me. Mom, stay out of the middle. Mom, I got that. Mom, just do this. But we had fun. I was really thankful to play with him. But
Susan, I can empathise with you about Scott's, occasionally playing with you, because with COVID, Chris had to play with me every day in lockdown, and I felt like I was the pity party before lockdown. Now, he wants to play with me.
Right. Yeah, I really want to play with Ernie. I've been wanting to play with Ernie for a while now, so if we ever get back out there, Ernie, I'm hoping you and I can find a tournament.
We came close for Newport, close.
We did. The thing I love about pickleball that's been so good for Scott and I is it's a sport or a hobby that we can both do at the same time, kind of parallel. And we don't have to play together, but we can go somewhere and there are people for me to play with and there are people for him to play with, and it's a sport we can both enjoy. But yet we don't have to actually train together or play together to both be there enjoying the same sport. So I think that's great about pickleball. I really do. And family wise too, yeah. It's just great for everybody.
I agree. One of these days, Susan.
I know.
So Scott, what would you recommend or how to behave if your partner is only complaining to you? That isn't very good for the self-confidence. So, except a changing partner.
Find a new partner. But that's a tough one. I mean, I think chemistry is huge. So if you don't have good chemistry, your partner's, complaining, then you either have to have a talk with them and tell them, look, I'm doing the best I can, and I'm not trying to pop it up or hit the net or whatever, but I just need a little grace and patience. And just remind them, hey, we're just having fun. This is really, sometimes we all forget, we get so competitive that it's supposed to be about fun and about relationships. So I've certainly forgotten that at times on the court and have to be reminded. So just don't be afraid to remind your partner, hey, we're out here having fun, or, in the mixed doubles final. And actually the whole day last week at Newport, Yvonne Ting just said, Scott, let's just play. We're just out here playing a rec game. And we just kept saying, yeah, this is a great rec game. And then after we won, I texted her back and said, hey, had a great time playing rec with you yesterday. We won the gold medal at the, pro tournament. But just look at it as a fun experience as much as you can. Remind your partner, be honest with them. And then, try to find people you enjoy playing with.
Have we lost Roberto now? Is he gone? Oh, no, there he is. There he is. Oh, he's driving, so he can't speak. Right, okay.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, same here, really. So has anyone got any final questions for Scott or John or Susan? Otherwise, we'll close the meeting.
Scott, when did you say that Aspire thing opens up in Prescott? When are you planning?
We're not sure yet, but either next summer or fall, we're hoping. So stay tuned. We'll have some press release and announcements, but we're still working our way through the approval process.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. We look forward to seeing you there. You can play with Susan there. Hopefully
yeah, I'd love to bring my mom from Michigan there.
That'd be awesome. It's going to be special.
Well, let's hope we can all get together again next year.
Yes.
Yeah, or sooner even.
We want to see you again in Europe.
Got to be a better year.
All right, then, well, if that's it, I think we'll say thank you very much to the Moore family. It was lovely to see you all again.
Likewise. Thank you, guys.
Yes, thanks for having us on. Great to see everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. Thank you.
Have a great weekend.
Yep.
Thank you.
Great day, guys.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Thanks.
Take care.